There are many different hobbies one may be interested in. Some capture nature's wonder through painting, photographs, or stories. Others collect valuable items. Among these hobbies, a few may seem strange and unusual for most people. One good example is collecting vintage advertising signs. Those who do not have the same interest may find this pastime quite peculiar. However, for the collectors, the antique marketing signs hold significant value and interest. Many of the collectors are hooked into these decals because of the potential value it holds in the future. What seems of no value today may possibly become precious in the future. If the signage withstands the test of time, its value may increase. The market price of these collectibles also depend on its condition, rarity, fineness, appearance, and other qualities that make it stand out among others. A signage is also appreciated for its unique craftsmanship. Unlike the present production process, the decals in the past were more intricate and elaborate to make. There were no printers back then that mass production by a device is not possible. Each sign is created individually by a craftsman. It was indeed an arduous process that requires time, dedication, skills, and talent. The collection of antique advertising signage has deep roots in history. In the past, the people who hold ranks are known to have wide collection of vintage decals from all over the world. Collecting has been a hobby for the aristocrats with influential money and power. Their collections speak for their immense wealth. Although a preserved advertising signage has greater worth than newer ones, age is not the sole determinant. Less aged collectibles may not be as valuable, but they pose optimistic promises. Moreover, the signs may become objects of interest on the account of its role in history. Some decals are silent witnesses of the significant events in the past. Antique signs are mostly designed by hand. Since there were no printing equipment that can produce decals in large numbers, the craftsmen toil to produce a fine quality signage. They carefully plan the item's design, size, and materials. Their dedication and talent make up for the lack of machinery. The refined decals that has been properly maintained hold a much higher value. The antique commercial signs also vary widely in terms of its prices. The item's age, condition, demand, and the willingness of its owner to sell them determine how much an antique sign costs. If an owner is reluctant to sell the item, you may have to raise its value to convince him. A rarer item is also more expensive. There are different outlets to purchase these vintage items. Online stores offering a vast selection of antique items, including the vintage decals, are pretty common. Antique stores are another. As a caveat, one must be wary when investing in antique signage. Other than the business legitimacy, the authenticity of the items must be also verified. It takes time before one can aptly differentiate genuine vintage advertising signs from a counterfeit. Paying close attention to details may help starters identify an authentic vintage sign, though some of the most common indicators are uneven fading, hand lettering, eventual rusting, and old materials. As this is a costly investment, one must be very careful when spending good money for this unusual hobby.